Hi, it's Warren Huart here. Hope you're doing marvellously well. I'd like to talk to you today about mixing bass. Now, in previous videos, I've shown you how I record just with a straight DI and also a DI combined with an amp. A couple of people asked me what DI I use. I like a radial DI. I've used them for quite a few years. I've had other DIs, I've had tube ones, etc. over the years, but the radial works great. Also, if you have a pre like the DMP, which I use quite a lot, the BAE DMP, that has a DI input on it as well. So sometimes I'll just go straight into the DI on that. But in this instance, I'm using it from my mic input on my amp. Okay, so let's talk about different things you can do while mixing the bass. So let's go over to our Pro Tools session here. This is Chase's song Gone, which we've used a couple of times before. If we zoom in on the front of this, we talked about this on recording, you'll see that the waveforms are very slightly out from each other. I found an average here with the waveforms. This one says 92, 96. Here we're looking at 120. So I've made it about 115. It just brings these transients here back in phase of each other. You can see like the front of that waveform and the front of this waveform. It's just finding an average to give us good phase, good polarity. Okay, so on my DI, after I've time adjusted it, now you can physically move it. I just time adjust it because if you've done a lot of editing, there is less likelihood of there being any mistakes. You're just time adjusting the whole track. Anyway, so it's back 115 samples in phase of our bass mic. Here's our bass mic now underneath. Now what I like to do on the bass DI, especially in this instance, is I actually use it to create all of the bottom end, because the DI is very clean. It doesn't have potential distortion that you get from an amp or a mic and stuff. So I've kept it super clean. I have gone up to 156 here and done a very, very slow slope. Nice, easy slope. So basically, that's all the bottom end, super low mids and down, and everything else is wiped off. So if we just listen to that only, you'll have this. So it's a really clean, even bottom end there. What I like to do is add my Mac DSP MC4. What this is a multi-band compressor, and as you see, I've got it enabled. I've got it soloed, but it was bypassed at the moment, so let's unbypass it. I'm soloing it because it just saves me having to turn down all of the gain. I mean, I could do that. I could go in and I could turn down all the gain on the top here, but I'm just soloing it, so it's just the bottom end. I've gone to about 200 hertz and below, and I am just compressing that. What I like about that is it keeps that 200 and below really even. It provides almost the bottom end that you would get from like a bass synth, just a boom, boom. Every single note is nice and even. So even if I go high on the neck, because this is me playing, if I go high on the neck, it still has a lot of bottom end. Okay, so my bass mic, I'm doing the opposite EQ-wise. I've gone here and I've gone to about 200 and created a nice gentle slope the other way. So that will give us all the personality. You hear my picking on my finger. I don't mind that. Gives it some definition. Put the two together. What's lacking in one is made up for by the other. But the reason why I do that trick with the bottom end on one of the sources, sometimes I use the amp, sometimes I use the DI. I've been favouring the DI recently because it's cleaner. The reason why I do that trick is because no matter how well I get the phase alignment between the two sources, between the DI and the mic, it's never quite perfect. There's nothing you can do. If it's two different sources, they're always going to be slightly out from each other. And if you want good, round, solid bottom end, it's better to take it from one source, not from two. A lot of mixers I know do that. I don't know if they'll tell you that, but that's what they do. Okay, and then I use the bass mic. I have the same EQ setting on it, but I'm also running a little bit of distortion. I just don't want my bass mic to be that clean. The bass sound to be that clean, so I'm overdriving it slightly. So I'm just blending those three elements together: the bass mic with distortion, with the same EQ as the standard bass mic, and the DI. This is what we've got. Now I have a bus here, a Bassmaster bus. I've done a little 110 boost. I'm rolling off about 58 below gently. That's keeping it out of the way of the kick, so that the kick and the bass guitar can breathe. You know, it's not completely out of the way, but it's out of the way enough. If I throw in all my bass, all my kick sounds here, you'll see what I mean. Cool. So keeping those two from each other. I've also running a C4. I might use the C4 or the Mac DSP MC4. And again, doing the same thing. I've bypassed it all here, 250 and below, nice and even. So what I've done is I've taken my bass DI and I've made that nice and fat. And then I've combined the three sounds, and then I'm using another multi-band compressor just to combine those three. Once those three sounds are combined, to then even up the bottom end as well. So it sits beautifully in the track. After I've done that, I'm adding a little top-end boost just for a little bit of high-end personality. I'm also putting an API plug in here, and I'm doing some 800, which gives me that kind of woodiness. I don't know, that sort of piano-y sound of a precision. This, though, is my PVT-40, which is my favorite recording bass. And just because I can, I'm doing a little tiny boost using the R bass. I like it. It's an 80, which is actually where it defaults to. And that just kind of, like I said, I got my kick here at 60, and I've got, you know, the bass isn't completely wiped off at 60, but it's gently crossing over here. Then a little 80 bump just to say, hey, here's my nose sticking out. I'd just like to do that. I'm also running an L1, which in this instance, because I've got a lot of bottom end going on the signal, it's really helping me control the mix. So it's letting quite a few notes go through, but every now and then when it goes over, it's just stopping my mix from my bass just kind of sticking its head out too far out of the mix. And then last but no means least, I put another little mid-range boost because I found that I felt like, you know, that extra finger tone could have been exaggerated a little bit more. The frequency I'd like to boost on bass of 350. We're not doing it here because I want more of a rounded tone, but a little 350 is really nice because I'll pull that out of drums. 750 to 800 for a little bit of that precision-y kind of woody sound. And then sometimes like 1 to 1.5K if I want some more hardness, like a harder tone in my bass. So that's basically, that's the frequencies I boost and cut on bass. Let's just throw it into the mix.
Hide your memories away, save them for a rainy day, in a box beneath your bed. When you feel too alone, scare away the ghosts, think of me instead. But for now I'm
So hopefully I've helped you there with some mixing tips. Please leave some questions down below. This is not how I do it every time, it's just what suited this song, but definitely these ideas work. I think the multiband compressor is probably one of the biggest helps to me when mixing bass, to keep that low end nice and even. You know, the R bass is a great tool, but the multiband itself can probably provide a lot of what you need. And if you've got multiple sources, you can really control the bottom end. But if you just have a DI only, you can do all these tricks. You can modify how you do that. So please subscribe. Please leave some questions down below. And if you go to producelikeapro.com, you can sign up for the email list and you can get some exclusive video content on recording drums and recording piano. You can also download files for editing and mixing, of drums and piano, etc. So please subscribe, and thank you ever so much for watching.